Thanks for tuning in. This is a Sweet Cyclist, and today we're going to be looking at the Bontrager Ion 200 RT and Flare RT bike light set. So here we have Bontrager's most powerful and compact light set. This set consists of the Ion 200 RT headlight and the Flare RT taillight. These have been updated to be more compact and improve their water resistance. They have an IPX7 rating, which is really great. Packaging wise, it's really simple. You have this nice white cardboard box with a lot of high contrast graphics on it. On the sides, you have some of the features. While on the back, you have a great illustration of the different light modes and how they achieve the 2-kilometer visibility. They both have day flash modes, which makes this a great daytime option. And the compact size also makes it easy to use. Let's go ahead and take it out of the box and review some of the specs. Retail price for this set is $115. That saves you a couple bucks over the individual $60 prices if you were to buy them separately. The headlight has a 200 lumen maximum output, while the taillight has 90 lumens. They both have 5 different modes. They also both have ambient light sensors, which means they can adjust the light output depending on the current settings. In the packaging, you also get 2 different mounts, one for the taillight and one for the headlight. The headlight has a 0-degree offset, so it sits flush, while the taillight has a 16-degree offset to ensure it's parallel with the ground. You get a single USB cable and a user manual, and this is a light where you'll definitely need to actually use a manual because this has a lot of features with the 5 different modes of the ambient light sensor. And one of the best features here is the ANT Plus and Bluetooth connectivity, which means you can actually connect these lights with the Bontrager transmitter, as well as any compatible Bontrager and Garmin head units to control the lights and monitor the output. And this is a great feature that I really like to see because with these USB rechargeable lights, you don't typically get a very good battery indicator. So being able to see that on the fly on your computer is really a great plus. So now let's take a look at the weight of the lights. If we take the taillight and put it on the scale by itself, we come out to 22 grams, which is really light and really corresponds to the compact form factor. The mount is 10 grams. The headlight, the Ion 200, comes out at 22 grams as well, while the mount for the headlight is 12 grams, so slightly heavier. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the Bontrager lights. Now Bontrager actually shares the same housing between the two, so you can see they're identical in profile and weight. The only differences really here are the model names printed on top and the fact that the taillight has the inner red lens, and that gives that little red halo and the red output. So given that, let's look at the headlight. On the front, you have a flat faced lens with a diffuse cover on here. That helps diffuse the light a bit more. You have the Bontrager name printed on top. On the sides, you have these little tinted windows, and you can see that actually helps improve the side visibility. So with the light on, it actually lets the light through, and that's on both sides. You also have these textured parts here that make this easier to grip and prevent it from sliding off. On top, you have the large power button. I really like this. It's really easy to use with even gloves on or in winter. And when you turn it on, you see there's an indicator light to the left of it. Blue will turn on for the first few seconds to indicate that the wireless connectivity is enabled. Green will indicate the battery is in good state. Red will indicate it's bad and they'll blink. And when it's charging as well, these lights will be illuminated. On the bottom, you have the improved USB port cover. This is a standard micro USB charging port. And you can see the cover is actually well done. It's a rubber gasket and it's really easy to use. It's less fidgety than some other lights, so I simply push it in, I'll lock into place. On the back, you have the standard mounting, sliding mount. So if I take my mount and I slide it in, you can see you get a nice click. The mount is actually rotatable, and there's a pretty tight tolerance between these two. I found that it worked really well. You don't have any play aside from the actual rotation. If we look at both mounts, they're nearly identical, except the length. Obviously the handlebar is a little bit shorter on the front side versus the taillight. These are pretty standard rubber band style designs. They won't damage your frame. Unfortunately, Bontrager doesn't actually include a body clip for the taillight, so these are the only two mounts you get. Every other thing will cost a little bit extra money to purchase. Now in terms of operation, this is where you actually need to read the manual. To turn it on, it's a single click, not a hold. If you hold it longer, that'll enable and disable different features. Once it's on, it's a single click to cycle through. And you can see they're pretty distinct modes. The lights actually include ambient light sensors as well. However, it's disabled from the factory, and I think that was because of the confusion they caused, especially in stores where it's well lit. It may push you into a night mode instead of a daytime flash mode. So with the ambient light mode, basically it'll convert daytime flash into a nighttime mode, or a nighttime mode into a daytime mode, depending on the light. And this makes it easier to automatically adjust, and you don't have to keep messing with the modes depending on day or night. To enable that feature back, what you have to do is turn off the light, hold down the power button, and if you wait 8 seconds, you will see a flash, and that'll indicate that the mode is now on or off depending on what you started in. Now once you're on, you don't have any indication that's actually on, but you'll see that if I were to put this into a dark area, the light would switch automatically in the corresponding modes. You can still cycle through them manually though. Another feature this has is a mode lockout. So with the light on, I can actually keep my favorite mode. So say I really love daytime flash, I can hold down the button again, wait 8 seconds, and I'll get a acknowledgement flash. There you go. And now with the lockout, I can't actually switch to any other mode. This is kind of an unusual feature. Typically you have a lockout to ensure the light doesn't turn on while it's in your backpack. I've never actually seen a mode lockout. This is a nice feature if you keep accidentally changing the mode and you really only want to run daytime or a specific one. To disable it, it's the same as enabling it. You hold it on while it's in that mode, wait for the flash, and there you go. Now I can cycle through the different modes. So now let's take a look at the Bontrager lights versus the Light Motion Via series. I think this is a really great comparison as they actually have the same prices. This is the Via Pro headlight. This is the Bontrager Ion 200. They're both single Cree LED designs. They both have 2 kilometer claimed visibility and irregular flash modes. You can see if I turn these on, they both have a really high visibility, while the Light Motion has a patented flash mode versus a simple flash. Form factor wise, very lightweight, compact, while the Light Motion is longer and thinner. I actually like the Bontrager better in this regard as it's a little bit more compact. But again, very similar. Light Motion has leveraged the ambient light sensor a lot more than Bontrager. You can't actually turn that off with this light, so depending on whether it's daytime or nighttime, it'll automatically adjust between 2 available modes. It also has a motion sensor, so it will turn off when you stop moving. You can get a similar effect with the Bontragers if you attach it to your computer for auto on and auto off feature. The mounts for these, similar plastic rubber strap design with some rotatability. But again, I actually like the Bontrager mount better as well, as the Light Motion one takes a little bit of force to really attach. Taillight wise, I have the $40 Via Switch. Now this is a variation of the Via Pro taillight. It doesn't have the motion sensor or the ambient light sensor, so it won't automatically adjust. However, it's very similar again, single Cree LED design, 2 kilometer visibility, irregular flash mode, which is pretty nice. And the Light Motion is only engaged when mounted, so you don't have to worry about lockouts. But I think they have similar visibility, they're both bright. But again, I think the advantage here is the Bontrager, it's more compact, while the Light Motion is lightweight, but longer due to the USB port design. Mounts, again, for the taillights, almost identical standard rubber straps with everything else costing a little bit of extra money. Now let's take a look at the light output from the lights. Here I have a daytime shot of me riding with the daytime flash on the taillight and headlight, and as you can see, it really draws your attention. They claim up to 2 kilometers visibility, and that's something I can actually believe. As you can see here, they're quite bright for their diminutive size. Let's also look at the different output modes. There are 5 different modes for the headlight and taillight. There's high, medium, low here, and as you go lower, the power output drops, but the runtime increases quite a bit. It also has a night flash and then a day flash mode. Note anything with the asterisk indicates that is the automatic switch to a night mode if you have the ambient light sensor set up. So here a day flash would switch to a night flash. All day flash is also a higher runtime mode for the taillight but less power. There's also the night flash mode, which is interesting. It's kind of a low pulse, a day steady, and then a lower power night steady. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Bontrager Ion lights. I really like the compact form factor. They give you that daytime visibility without the weight penalty or bulkiness of typical lights. And especially with all the different flash modes, you can be safe day or night. I also really like the fact that they connect to compatible cycling computers. That means you can view the battery status as well as have them automatically turn on and off for a really seamless experience. You don't have to mess with individual buttons or worry about the battery status if you have the right computer. Some of the cons are, I think it's a little expensive. At almost $60 a light, it's a lot more than you have to pay for larger lights with more lumens. I also think they could really reduce the number of light modes. The headlight doesn't need to have a high, low, medium. I think you could really get away with a daytime flash and a nighttime steady. Also, I wish Bontrager would include the body clip as an alternative mount. Especially for the taillight, it'd be nice to mount that on a saddlebag or backpack. Taking everything into account, out of 10, I would give these lights an 8.4. I think they're a really compact and bright set of lights. I really like them for daytime visibility, and especially with a compatible computer, you don't have to worry about turning them on or off and really have a great seamless experience. Thanks for watching this review. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also view more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com. as well as follow us on Instagram at The Sweet Cyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist, reminding you to enjoy the ride.